Welcome to Speedy Walkthroughs, where we show just the important stuff to beating the game. For first time viewers, this will look different to a normal walkthrough. It will show just the essentials, so you don't need to spend a long time watching this video. Today we're playing The Legend of Zelda for the original NES. This is the first game in the Zelda series and can be pretty tricky to figure out where to go. So I'll show you where to go and how to get 100% of all the items in the game. Before we get stuck into it, if you do find this helpful, please consider subscribing to keep up to date. It helps out the channel a whole bunch. Alright, so we start out the playthrough and we're going to go straight into this cave, and this dude just gives us the sword. Some people do challenge runs of this game without the sword, but trust me, you don't really want to do that if you're trying to play through casually. So he's going to head left on this screen, and then left and then up again. We're making our way towards the first dungeon. So I'll try and take you through the path of the game, which is sort of the easiest to get through, and we're going to be getting 100% of all the items. Given that we don't have many power-ups or anything yet, we can't really unlock many of the secret items on the world map, so we really do have to do this first dungeon. The cool thing about this first dungeon, if you do just leave and come back, that key door will be open and you're safe having to grab a key. But we're going to do it normally in this playthrough. So if you kill the enemies in this room and grab a key, you might notice that my sword's firing in front of me as like a projectile. That only happens if you're on maximum health, just be aware of that. And we're just going to be farming and getting keys and stuff. And when you pick up the rupees, if they're like flashing, they're going to be worth 1, but if they're a solid blue color, they'll be worth 5, so just keep that in mind. And make sure you're killing enemies pretty regularly because you want to be farming rupees and stuff. You also want to be farming bombs once we get access to bombs a little bit later on. So if I'm killing all the enemies in the room in this footage, it probably means that you need to be killing all the enemies, so just keep that in mind. Otherwise, we're just going to be making our way through. We just picked up an item called the map, and that, well, shows us a map of the dungeon. All these dungeons are in different shapes of various different objects, and sort of can follow the map to get our way through. I got quite lucky there and picked up a bomb drop. If you don't, there are a few different ways you can get bombs, like you can just visit shops around the world map and stuff, but you should be able to get bombs dropped at some point before the second dungeon. The first time you really need bombs is for the boss of the second dungeon, so just make sure you have them before that point, and if you don't have them, you can usually just farm them off enemies and stuff. Really important that you don't waste bombs, because it's very hard to get more in this game. Bombs are pretty useful for breaking through secret walls in dungeons and stuff, but you'll only need to break through secret walls if you see me doing that, so you shouldn't be really wasting any bombs on that. Alright, continuing our way through, we're going to go up here and come across the first boss here. Keeping the sword projectile makes this boss quite easy, but if you don't have it, just go up and slash him. And we go and get our first piece of the Triforce here. Alright, so once we get that Triforce piece, we're out of the first dungeon. We're just going to head out here and up. Now we got bombs are a little bit more that we can do on the world map, but we're going to be making our way towards the second dungeon here. Alright, so try and lay it in that exact spot that I've laid it there, and you'll talk to this dude. Never ever grab the potion. You always want to grab the heart when he offers you those two options. So what the heart does is it increases your maximum life counter by 1. So now we have 5 hearts rather than 4 as a potential. But the potion just restores your health. We want to talk to this guy. He gives us this little item which will unlock a potion shop anyway. So you can still get potions without really getting them from this heart versus potion dude. There's a little secret path up here that you can go into. So if we go there, we get some rupees. It's actually 100, which is quite good. And you'll need to be buying a lot of stuff pretty soon, so it's good to have access to those rupees. Now, one thing that you can do if you're playing this game with save states is you can keep playing this sort of money-making gambling game. When I recorded this footage, I was able to use save states, so I was just using that to farm a bit of extra money. If you can't do that, though, then you can just keep killing enemies for money and stuff like that. It just takes a lot longer to kill enemies if that's how you try and do it. Alright, heading up and around here. And into this cave. So we're going to buy a few goodies. We got the shield there. You don't really need the shield unless you're trying 100% it or something. Probably what's going to be more useful each year is this blue candle. Now that we got that candle, we'll be able to burn bushes on the world map. And burning bushes should unlock various secrets on the world map. So it'll be a very useful item to have. You can see now that we got the bomb and the candle, pretty much a lot of the world map has opened up to us. We lay a bomb there to get into this little bit, but this is just for some more rupees. It's 30 there. The developers of this game said there's usually a secret on every screen. Quite often it's just these rupees that we can get here. And if you're playing this game, I'd also recommend playing along with like a map or something, both of the dungeons and the world map as well. To uncover these staircases here, all you really need to do is touch the statues as well. And I was farming just a few more rupees on here because we need to buy something pretty soon. Alright, so swapping to the candle, you just burn this bush here. Be aware that the blue candle, you can only use it once per screen that you're on. So if you miss the bush or whatever, you have to leave and come back. I brought the meat from the shop there, and the meat is actually used in a much later dungeon, but we just got it now because it was in the way. We're coming into this dungeon. Just grabbing some extra keys and bits and pieces. I will probably grab more keys than we necessarily need, but it's good to know where some extra ones are just in case you need them for whatever reason. Alright, it's going to head up through this little room here. And you can usually farm bombs off those enemies there. That's always good to have. As I said before, we will need bombs in this dungeon, so just be aware of that. I think one of the shops that I went into before did have bombs for sale, so if you don't have them for whatever reason, you can get them from there. Now, this room gives us that boomerang there. I think it might actually be an upgrade to the boomerang, I'm not sure. But pretty much the boomerang's an excellent item to have. It will stun enemies if you hit them with the boomerang, so a good strategy is to sort of boomerang them and then sword them. Boomerang can also go out in all 8 directions, and yeah, it goes for a pretty long range and everything like that. There's a secret wall up there that we need to bomb through, so just lay the bomb at the top of the room and then keep heading up. Get a little hint here and we can bomb the left wall to get through. Alright, we killed all the enemies in that room there. And then we actually have Dodongo here. So all you need to do is lay bombs in front of him and he will like eat them and stuff. And we get the second piece of the Triforce. Alright, so coming out of that second dungeon, we got a bit more exploration to do on the world map. Alright, so you want to lay a bomb there, we get to go into this bit. Again, we get another heart, which is good. And various bits and pieces in this game are locked behind how many hearts you have. I think it's mainly the sword upgrades, so make sure you're grabbing the hearts along the way if you're wanting to upgrade your sword. I'd recommend playing this game 100% as much as you can, because it can be a bit tricky to get through the later dungeons without all the upgrades and stuff. This map here has a tree that you can burn, so you just burn the same tree that I'm burning here, 5th from the right, and we get another heart. With bombs and the candle, the world map is pretty much open, but we'll grab the raft later on, which will open it up even more than this. Alright, so we're sort of heading back towards the starting area of the game here. We can bomb this wall. Now what's in here is another one of these gambling minigames. So again, if you're playing with save states like on Virtual Console or Emulator or something like that, you can use this to get a whole bunch of money. If you don't have that, you're going to have to farm money from enemies and stuff. And the maximum number of rupees you can get is 255, so don't bother trying to get any more than that. Alright, moving on, we're going to head to the left of the map now. And we'll be heading across to Dungeon 3. Before we do that, we're just going to head up to this little bit here. Yeah, there's a little hidden shop under this dude. He's going to give you the blue ring there. From memory, I think that gives you higher defense, if I'm not mistaken. And Link actually changes color once you got that as well. Now just head to the right and go to Dungeon 3. Also, there's nothing stopping you doing this dungeon right at the start of the game as well. You can just walk to it and do it. But we sort of progressed through the levels in the order that they were intended just because of the difficulty spiking of the game and wanting upgrades for this and stuff like that. Alright, they'll spawn a lovely key for us. Now, alright, these enemies are horrible. Basically, to attack them, you need to hit them from the side or the back, not the front. If you hit them from the front, it just won't work. One very good way to attack them efficiently is by using bombs. But of course, you only have a limited number of bombs. One thing that I'll actually mention is that killing enemies with bombs sometimes makes it more likely that they'll drop bombs. It's kind of weird that they programmed it like that, but they do. If you want to get really intense with this game, the randomness is actually completely determined. Like, all the items come out in the same order, so you can sort of use that to your advantage. But if you're playing through casually, you should do just fine killing lots of enemies and seeing what they drop and stuff. Alright, we get the dungeon map there, and there's a little hidden wall to the right. And the best way to kill that enemy is by just laying a bomb straight in the middle of it, and yeah, killing it like that. Alright, so now we've done that, we're going to head out of this dungeon 3 and back up. Just going to head over to the right here and up using this raft. That raft we got from the previous dungeon. It was sort of in the bottom left of the dungeon there, and that brings us to level 4 here. And there's also another heart we could grab on the world map now that we got the raft, but it's really out of the way to grab now. We're better off doing level 4 first and then coming up to that section after. Because we need an item from level 4 to get both hearts up there anyway, so we might as well just come there later. Now, the gimmick of this little level is that the rooms do go dark. If you do want to light up the rooms, you can use the candle, so just keep that in mind. But you can probably navigate most of it in the dark, to be honest. Let's head through this door here. You gotta be really careful of these pancake-looking enemies, because they will steal your shield if you have it, so just don't let them get you, whatever you do. We can push that block to open up a little secret passage, and now we get this other thing. It behaves like... I get really confused with this game, because the raft and the ladder are both very similar items in that they cross water. The item that we just picked up will let us cross a single tile of water, like what I'm doing there. And if it's any bigger than one tile, you won't be able to get across the gap. But anything one tile, you can just walk straight across with this ladder. So as you can imagine, that will open up the world map quite a bit as well. There's a little boss reuse there. And you can bomb the wall to the right to get into a secret room and then up above. Little key to grab in there. And then we'll head to the right out of this room. You can push that block to the left there to unlock the door. And then we get the actual boss of this dungeon. And we just head up through the door and then we're pretty much done with that level. So as I said before, having the little ladder item opens up the world map a whole bunch. And we can pretty much go anywhere we want now. Alright, so heading up here, this is where we get the sword upgrade here. And if this dude doesn't give you the sword for whatever reason, the reason is you don't have enough hearts. So just go and get some more hearts if that's the case. I think you need the full row of hearts if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so this is like a reoccurring map a little bit here. You just need to keep going up over and over and over and you will eventually get to this dungeon, which is level 5. Just go through and kill all the enemies in this room and get a key. Again, I probably have way too many keys, but I might as well show you where they are. It's very obvious when enemies have a key inside them as well. So they show up like that. There's a secret wall to the left which we can get through. And more mummies. Another secret wall to the left here. So you got to kill all these enemies and then push that block down to get through. It's a little secret path to get through the rest of the dungeon. And we head left out of this room. And just killing all these ones here. And pushing that block should get us the secret passage. Just remember those enemies are the ones that you have to hit from the side or behind. So we get that flute. The flute's kind of a strange item. It's used to beat the boss of this dungeon. But it's also used to warp around the world map. So if you play it in front of a dungeon, it will warp you to another dungeon. I think depending on the way that Link's facing when you play the flute. Alright, so heading back through these secret passages. And we can head up through this room now. And we get 3 Dodongos, but you can literally just walk straight past them. And just remember, you can light up these rooms if you'd like to, by using the candle. Alright, heading to the left out of this one. You got more mummies to take care of here. And keep going left. They probably don't need to kill the enemies in there because it doesn't really do anything. Here you want to use the flute, and then you want to slash it or use a bomb to blow it up or something like that. And head down into this room here. You can also head up there and then grab the piece of the Triforce to finish level 5. Alright, so coming out of level 5, we actually haven't completely finished this level off yet. There's a couple of goodies to grab in here. So just gonna head out to the left of this bit. We're actually going to head down from this room after the secret passage. Grab a little key there. Got like a secret wall to break open. And this is what we're doing in here. We're just getting the bomb upgrade from this dude. The reason I didn't grab it before is I just didn't have enough rupees to get it. So that's why I come back through the dungeon to grab it. If you did have enough rupees, you could probably grab it on your first playthrough of the dungeon. But basically, just head back out the dungeon now. Now that we got that bomb upgrade, then we're pretty good. We're done with level 5. Alrighty, so we're actually going to use that flute now. We play it facing to the right there, and it takes us off. It's often quite hard to tell what level you've got to. That was level 2 that we've just walked in front of. That just saves us traversing a little bit across the world map here. Alright, so we need 10 rupees to play the money making game, and again, if you've got save states, you can just use this to farm a bunch of money. So do whatever you need to do to farm up to 255 rupees, because we'll need a few coming up. Now, this is a bit that I was talking before with the hearts, so you can use the raft here to get one of these hearts. You sort of go into there, make sure you pick the heart, not the potion. Now we'll head back out. But then right next to this heart, you still need the ladder. That's why we didn't grab that raft heart before. So use the ladder to get across there and you get yourself another heart. We'll make our way into this cave. So yeah, you need to buy arrows here. One of the bosses coming up will require arrows to defeat. I'm going to burn that bush and go into level 8. So we're doing this a little bit out of order, but it's worth going into level 8 while we're here now. So you take care of all the enemies in this room, push the block to go down here. You get this book. I think that's like a magic spell that you can fire, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, we got another one of these bosses. Secret wall up the top. So just take care of these enemies in here. We're going to head up through this door. And up through this one. And there's a secret path to get up through here, so we'll take that. This is that boss that I was talking about that does require the arrows there. Alrighty, so just heading down through this path here. Now that item there is sort of I think it's called the magic key. Basically what it is it's a key that never gets used up. So from this point in the game we will not need keys anymore. So just want to take care of these enemies here. And head through this right door. There's a little secret path up here and we have a dragon. This dragon has a lot more heads than the last time we fought it actually. A little hard upgrade and then we can make our way up here to get the Triforce piece. So yeah, now we've done level 1 through to 5 and level 8. So we got to come back and do 6 and 7 now. If we do the warp whistle facing down, we should get here. This is level 1. And that's the closest place to where we need to go next. So setting up out of level 1. And you might notice a 1 tile thick piece of water. That means we can ladder across it. So yeah, that ladder sort of opens up this top left section of the game, really. There is a way to get up here without the ladder, but it's a bit tedious. It involves going through lost woods and stuff. You hit that statue to get something called the power bracelet. That also opens up a lot more warps and everything. Yeah, so go up here. Hit that gravestone and we get this sword upgrade. Again, you have a requirement for a particular number of hearts that you need to get that upgrade, so just keep that in mind. I think it might be 12 if I'm not mistaken. Alright, we're going into this dungeon and level 6 and level 7 should be a lot easier now because we don't actually need to grab keys anymore. We can just zoom through the dungeon. So that's one reason why I did level 8 a lot earlier, just so that we'd have that master key. You kill the pancakes and push the block. Should be able to get through. And head over to the right as well. Up through here. Alright, so we're going to take the stairs on the top right here and grab the magic wand thing. This will be projectiles that you can like fire magic from, so it's a very useful item. Probably something worth keeping on the B button, to be honest. It's probably the first time where you have something that might actually be better than the boomerang to keep on the B button. I'm going to bomb through this wall. Grab the key, head down. Try and kill all the enemies in here and push the block, and then we go up the top right stairs. Now we got this spider boss that you do need the arrow to kill there, so we'll just kill that and grab the Triforce piece. Alright, so we're going to warp again. Let's make sure you face into the right when you do that. Brings us to level 5, we'll warp again right from level 5. Brings us to level 3, which is pretty close to where we need to go to. Where we are now is sort of like the bottom left of the map. So there's this lake thing near the bottom left of the map, and that lake is the entrance to the dungeon. So you need to play the flute there, and that brings us straight into level 7. Alright, moving up. Now I believe this level is the one that you need the meat for, so if you don't have the meat in your inventory, you got to go and buy the meat, because you'll need it to feed one of the people in this dungeon. That dude gives us bomb upgrades, which is always welcome. Then we'll head up through here. Alright, so we see the dungeon map is a cool little face thing. We have a secret order right here. So just go through. Try and kill all these enemies and then just go through the stairs here. Now we get the red candle. That is like a little upgrade from the blue candle. Essentially it just means you can use it multiple times on one screen. Alright, so to kill this guy you just got a flute and then ideally bomb to kill him. Go through the wall on the right here. And we can push that block to open up a staircase, which we can now just head through. Secret wall to the right again. And we got this dragon boss. It's kind of weird they reused that boss for level 7. It's like a pretty easy boss in all honesty. So with level 7 done, we're going to equip the flute again and we're going to play it. So play it facing the left like that. Brings back to this level. So this is level 2 that we warped back to. So it's going to head up out of here. Then we'll head across this little river with the raft. And up here. So where we're going now is basically the last level of the game. It's hidden behind Spectacle Rock here. You just have to bomb to get into it. And there it is, level 9. So it won't let you in this level unless you have all the Triforce pieces. This room here will stop you if you don't. And this level is insanely complicated, so yeah, just follow this exact path that I'm taking through here. You should be alright. Luckily with a lot of these rooms you don't actually need to kill all the enemies, because there's just like bombable walls that you can go through. This one you will though, because you have to push that up. Now we get this red ring here. This is more defense for Link, so it's sort of an upgrade from that white one that we had before. Definitely would recommend getting that red ring, because this dungeon can be very tricky. Now we will have to go up through the door here. On through the left wall. Yeah, now to take care of this guy, you do have to kill all the little ones first, and then the big blue one in the middle. Very easy if you have the sword upgrade from having maximum health, but pretty tricky if you don't have the max health. Secret wall to go up from here. To take care of all these. Alright, once you've done that, just push that block to the right there and make your way up through the staircase. So this gets us the silver arrows. You actually really do need these to beat the game. So Ganon, who's the final boss, will only take hits with the silver arrows. You sort of have to hit him with the arrows, then sword him. So just pushing that block there and heading back down. Alright, heading down this staircase, we've got another secret path here. And we'll pretty much be going towards Ganon now. Alright, heading up through this door, and now we get into the fight with him. Make sure you got your silver arrows equipped. Remember, it will take rupees to fire those. So just make sure you have enough rupees coming in. You sort of have to hit him with the sword and then hit him with the arrows. It's a little bit tricky to manage that. But once you've done that, you can just go up through the room, sword the fire, and you get Zelda. Alright, so that's going to be pretty much it for this video. I hope you found it useful, and thanks so much for watching.